Hi there everyone, it's Jason here and welcome to the Taxfiler webinar with regard to limited companies. I do apologise to everyone that I couldn't hold the session live last night. I had a few technical issues, as they say, last night, so I thought it might be easier in the end just to record it and to upload it to YouTube this morning. So that's what I'm doing. So what the webinar is going to be about is how to use Taxfiler for limited companies. So it's not going to go into too much detail, but it's a brief sort of introduction to limited companies within Taxfiler. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, Taxfiler is a cloud-based application which you're able to produce accounts from. So sole traders, partnerships, limited company accounts, and of course tax returns. So tax returns for individuals, for partnerships, for companies, for trusts. So really a kind of one-stop shop for all your accountancy needs, really. Pretty much does everything you need as far as accounts and tax returns goes, really. It's one of my favourite bits of software. I've used it, to be fair, probably since it came out. I think I was one of Taxfiler's first ever customers, so I've kind of grown with them, I guess, really. Certainly I know the directors very well, and as you may or may not know, Taxfiler have just been taken over by Iris. Now, this has caused a few ripples. Lots of people think that Iris are going to change them. I think Iris got a little bit of a reputation for sort of taking things over and changing them for the worse. But I do hope that doesn't happen with Taxfiler, because it's such a great bit of kit, and I hope it's kept sort of fairly separate. The only downside is, as I'm sure you've seen everywhere, is they put the prices up pretty much straight away. Now, the prices went up from the 1st of July, and yes, that has caused a bit of a backlash, but I would say in their defence, the price hasn't risen since Taxfiler came out. I think I'm right in saying that, which is a few years ago. Now, obviously, if you've only just subscribed to Taxfiler, if you've only been with them a year or 6 months, and then suddenly the price goes up, then it's going to hit you hard, and you're going to think, you know, what's going on here? So what I'll do is, just before we start the demo, I'm just going to click on the prices page of the website, as you can see. So this is a guide to the prices that the Taxfiler charges at the moment. So we've got a startup option. Now, all these prices, you have to remember, are excluding VAT, and that's caused a few ripples as well. So, for example, the startup option is £10 per month plus VAT for 10 clients. Now, that's any mixture of self-assessment, corporation tax accounts, and VAT. Now, VAT, Taxfiler have now introduced sort of a bridging software feature for producing VAT returns for making tax digital. Again, you may or may not need that. It was never included in the software before, but it's kind of a little add-on now. And another little add-on that they're coming up with over the summer is practice management. So that's going to come into the software as well. So we've got the solo option, which is £20 per month, but if you pay annually, you get 2 months free. So this does seem quite a popular option to pay annually. In this case, you get 30 clients. Again, any mixture of self-assessment, corporation tax accounts, and VAT. Sorry, both of those are for single users. But I think the most popular option is the £25 per user per month. Again, that's if paid annually. Otherwise, it's £30 per month if you pay on a monthly basis. But this is unlimited clients. So it's single or multi-user, but it's priced per user. So I guess most of us are just going to be single user. So you're talking about, if you pay it monthly, if you'd rather pay monthly, you know, because of it's just easier sometimes to pay for things monthly, and you're not really committing long term, then £30 a month plus VAT. To be honest, for unlimited clients, unlimited accounts and tax returns, is still extremely good value, I think. And I don't think anyone's disputing the value of Taxfiler. I think what's annoyed people is the sudden rise in prices. Being it was sort of £10–15 a month before, for now to be £30 a month. You know, some people are saying, well, hang on, this has doubled. So, although on the face of it, if you're a new user, for example, signing up today, £30 a month plus VAT for unlimited accounts and returns is still superb value. Don't get me wrong, but I think the way they put the prices up has just caused a few rumbles, let's say. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. I'm not going to show you the 10 user one, because I guess most of us aren't using that. But so I just thought I'd just sort of show you the prices, how they work, and I still personally think that it's very, very good value. Anyway, we're going to click onto here, And so what I'm going to show you is just a very brief introduction to limited companies within Taxfiler. And what I'm going to do just sort of halfway through the course is just spend a couple of minutes just promoting a course that I'm running, which is a complete step-by-step guide on how to produce limited company accounts and corporation tax returns within Taxfiler. So obviously I'm not going to show you that today. I'm just going to give you a brief introduction, but I'm also going to talk about my course as well. So this is the Taxfiler home screen, as you can see. Now, on the Taxfiler home screen, you'll always get your most recently viewed cases here, and on the left-hand side, you get your overview of the current status of the returns. So, for example, in this case, we've got 7 returns still open. We've got accepted by HMRC 13%, so 13% accepted, 88% of them still open. But obviously that would change depending on when you file them. But for now, I'm just going to click into my demonstration company, which is Fred Blog Limited, very original name there. 31st of March 19 accounts. So as you can see, when I move my mouse under the or alongside the code and the name, I get an underlined link, which means I can click on it. So I'm going to click on that there. And what I'm going to show you first is the accounts module. So I'm going to click right back to details. So we've got tabs along the top here: details, trial balance, contents, notes, policies, view, and check and file. So this is purely for accounts, and in this case limited company, because that's what we're dealing with today. So we're going to look at details first. So we've got period details. Now in Taxfiler, whenever you see a red asterisk, that means that field has to be completed, otherwise it won't be accepted. So that's just a sort of side note there. So we've got the current period start date, current period end date. You can have comparative periods, of course, as well, start and end date. And you've got little fields for the business information. So the company number, where we're incorporated, the registered office, and you can put details of the accountant in as well. Now what you also can do, I'm not showing you this now because we're already set up, but when you set up limited companies, you can actually put the company number in and get Taxfiler to look up the company details, which is a really good feature. It saves you typing in names, addresses, etc., etc. So that's a really good feature to sort of be aware of. We've got status. Now, most of the time you're going to have this box ticked, company is trading. But you can also, as you can see, file for dormant companies in Taxfiler as well. So that option can be ticked if the company's dormant. And you can have details of directors as well. So that's a sort of brief overview of the details tab. Now, where the magic happens, I guess, is in the trial balance tab. Now, the trial balance tab very much acts, of course, as a normal TB. So you've got the current year columns in comparative. You can change the layout. So layout here, we've got single column per year, but we can also choose debit and credit columns as well. So if I click on that, you'll see we've got debit and credit columns. I myself prefer single column per year, but you might well prefer debit and credit. Now what you can do is you can move down the TB and you can type all the figures in manually, which is perfectly okay. So once you've, for example, you've finished your bookkeeping for the year, you're happy that everything's correct, and you want to put your trial balance into Taxfiler, you can simply move down the trial balance and plug in manually all the figures. But a clever thing you can do also is you can connect Taxfiler to your software, to your bookkeeping software. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying you can't do it with all bookkeeping packages, but certainly, for example, with Xero, as you can see here, this particular client is connected to the demo company in Xero. Now, of course, when I delve into the course, I'll show you exactly how you do that, but just be aware that you can do that. So you can link Taxfiler to most of the bookkeeping packages, I think I'm right in saying. Even if it's not all of them, I'm sure in time it will be. That's certainly the major players, Xero, QuickBooks, for example, are here to be able to link to. So once you've completed your trial balance, you can then move on to the contents tab. You've got your figures plugged in, so we can move on to contents. Now this is where we control what's contained in the account. So for example, we've got type of accounts here, so we've got small company or micro entity. We can have full or abridged accounts, of course, and the status of the accounts, that will change depending on where you are with the account. So you've got draft, final and approved. Once they're approved by the client, that will change. And the contents of the accounts, now as you'll see, that's very much controlled by tick boxes, so everything that's ticked will be contained within the accounts. And the good thing is you can edit some of these, as you can see as well. So for example, we've got the director's report here, that's ticked to include, but we can actually click on edit and you can change certain parameters within that. Again, not going to look into too much detail here because I'm just showing you the sort of brief overview, but Everywhere you see edit, you can of course change the wording, the text that's contained within that field. So we've got all those there. Again, these can be ticked and unticked. We've then got the signature. We've got the name of the director signing the balance sheet and the date it was approved. Show comparative columns, we've got that option. And we've got mark draft accounts with watermark, and that's quite handy as well, of course, because if you do mark them as draft, you can send the accounts to your client, for example, with the watermark showing, so they know they're draft. And once they're finalised, you can take that watermark off, so it shows the client and it shows you and it shows everyone that the accounts are finalised. So we'll tab across to notes. Now these are all the notes to the accounts. Now again, as you'll see, they're pretty much all clickable links. So turnover, for example, we can click in that note and we can put anything else that we need to in there. Again, creditors, we can click on that note. Any additional things we need, we can put in there. So very, very flexible on what you can put within the notes in Taxfiler. So all the sort of standard set notes are here, but the good thing is you can click on them and you can change anything within there, which is very, very handy. Now, policies, I'm going to move across to policies. Now, we've got, for example, the basis of preparation. Again, they're clickable, so if we click on basis of preparation, you can control what text is there. So the standard text is already provided, but you can, of course, change that. And you can change these notes of the position of where they are within the accounts as well, which is quite handy. And of course, if you need to add a new one, you're free to do that as well. So click on add a new policy or paragraph, and then Taxfiler will give you the options on which heading to use. So you can click any one you want, and you can change the default text as possible. Sorry, change the default text as necessary, I meant to say, and change the position of that note within the policies as well. So I'll cancel that for now. Now, when we're pretty happy that we've done everything we need to, we can click on View. Now, it says here there are errors in the accounts. Please use Check and File tab to review the errors. Now, I've done that on purpose because I'm going to show you that when Taxfiler detects something wrong or it detects there's something missing, it's going to warn you before you prepare the accounts, for real, if you like, which is great. So if you've missed out something glaring, then Taxfiler will pick it up. So we'll move to the Check and File tab in a minute, but we know because of this huge red bar across the top that we still need to do some work on the accounts. But I'm just going to show you here how the accounts look. So as you can see, we've got a really, really nice set of accounts here. Taxfiler's formatted them all exactly how they're meant to be. So we can move down and we can just see the normal standard things within the accounts. We've got director's report and income statement, statement of financial position, notes to the accounts, etc, etc, etc. And as you can see here, we've got the type, so we can have full accounts for HMRC and we can have filleted accounts for Companies House. So if I click on those, you'll see these are filleted accounts, so they'll be a lot shorter, of course. We've just got the statement of financial position and the notes to the accounts, and they're filleted accounts for Companies House. I'll change back to full for the moment. Now the format of the accounts, there's IXBRL, which they're showing at the moment, but you can also, for example, have them as PDF. So you can produce a PDF set of accounts and then you could download those, for example, to send to your client for approval, or you could download them for your files or whatever you want to do. Now, I'm going to move on to Check and File now. So if I click on that, brilliant. So we've got 4 notes here, which means 4 things that need attention before the accounts get completed. So Taxfiler won't let you, for example, file the accounts until these are completed. So we've got an error, cost of computer equipment carried forward from comparative year is 0, but figure brought forward is 1583. So the software is detected, we've got a brought forward figure of computer equipment, but there's nothing carried forward from comparative year. So obviously that would need to be fixed because that's not tying up. The second note is there must be at least 1 current director entered in order for the accounts to be approved and filed. So we've not entered any director's details, so it's picked that up, so it won't let us do anything before we do that. The third thing is there are tangible fixed assets in the current year, but no tangible asset policy has been specified. So again, we've got assets in there, but we've not specified a policy, so that would need to be done as well. And finally, it is recommended that a detailed profit and loss account is included whenever accounts are to be submitted to HMRC. So again, because I haven't ticked the detailed profit and loss account option, that's popped up as well. So any of these areas you can literally click on fix and it will take you straight there. So really, really handy feature, and as I say, it won't let you file to Companies House, for example, until these are fixed. But when they are fixed, what I'll do is I'll just go and show you another set I prepared earlier, as they say. I'll go back to Check and File, And all these accounts that I'm showing you now, all the errors have been corrected. There's no errors at all, so we're all ready to submit. We can actually submit to Companies House direct from Taxfiler. Now you must note that if you're an agent, you need a presenter ID with Companies House to be able to do that, but that's fairly easy to obtain. And what you can also do now is you can attach these accounts to a corporation tax return. So when you prepare your CT600, which I'll show you briefly in a second, then you haven't got to go through the faff of typing in everything manually. It's going to bring all those figures you've just produced in the accounts through to the CT600. So I'm going to go back to the home screen. So the next thing to show you, that's how the accounts function works. The next thing to show you is the corporation tax. But just before I do that, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about the course that I'm running at the moment. So, excuse my finger slipping on the keyboard there. So, I'm running a course, a video-based course called How to Prepare a Set of Limited Company Accounts and Corporation Tax Return using Taxfiler. So the course, very, very briefly, is a complete step-by-step walkthrough right from scratch. So it's right back to basics. It's going to tell you right from the beginning how to prepare a set of limited company accounts, right through to submitting them to Companies House and building up the CT600, the corporation tax return, and submitting that to HMRC as well. So it's a complete and total step-by-step walkthrough of the whole process right from scratch. I'm also going to give you, within the course, I'm going to give you a PDF of allowable business expenses for limited companies. This is a really useful PDF that I've had printed, I've had designed, and it tells you what expenses you can and can't claim through your limited company. So I'm included that in the course as well, because I think that's a really, really handy thing to have. So as I say, I'm going to show you how to prepare a trial balance either manually, or I'm going to show you step by step how to import it from a software package as well. I'm going to show you how to prepare a set of accounts from that trial balance. I'm going to show you how to transfer those accounts to a CT600. I'm going to show you how to understand the computation, which is another sort of area that people do slip up on. It's very important to understand the corporation tax computation because you need to explain it to your client, really. If your client queries it, then you need to be able to understand it. So I'll walk you through that step by step as well. Now, common errors to avoid. That's a great thing. I've seen so many errors in limited company accounts before. Even surprisingly from the big practices. I've seen a very, very big practice that I know make a glaring error on limited company accounts. And there's lots of little things that can go wrong with limited company accounts. So I'm going to show you in the course some very, very common errors that I see a lot and how to avoid them. Now, my course, as I say, step-by-step, video-based, work at your own pace. You can, of course, pause the videos as you move along. And I guess the beauty of the course is once you, obviously I realise you need to be competent to prepare limited company accounts and corporation tax returns. I'm not suggesting that anyone does it. You need to be competent to do it. But of course, you know, pretty much any bookkeeper or accountant agent can buy Taxfiler and do it. So not that I'm encouraging you to do it, because you're free to do it. Whenever you want to buy Taxfiler, you can go for it. All I'm doing is showing you the correct way to do it. So of course you can use it for set after set after set of limited company accounts. So you can if you're charging the client £500 a time, then you know this course can hopefully potentially make you thousands and thousands and thousands. And you can use it year after year, of course. And I'm sure Taxfiler will update their software as the years go on. So although there may be small updates in the future, the crux of the course is going to be hopefully valuable to you for years and years and years to come. You can make lots and lots of money out of it. And as I say, I'm not encouraging you if you're not competent to produce limited company accounts, but you know, Taxfiler enable agents to buy the software, so you know, I'm just assisting with that, I guess, really. So my course is going to sell for $147 when I release it for real on the 1st of August. I think that's quite a fair price. As I say, $147, you can make potentially thousands out of that. So hopefully it's a tiny, tiny investment for what you can get back from it. But what I'm going to do is, although I'm releasing it on the 1st of August, I'm actually offering it for pre-order for £97 if anyone orders it before the 31st of July. But the big bonus is today for Sharon's Group. I'm doing this exclusively for Sharon's Group. I'm not going to offer this to anyone else at all. But anyone who orders now off the webinar, off the back of the webinar, can get the course for just £67. I think that's a bit of a steal. So I'm doing it for sort of a massive, massive discount on 147. But it's just for those from Sharon's Group that sign up from the webinar. And hopefully sign up before Sunday night. I think I'll keep the doors open until Sunday night for £67. So it'll give you a chance to watch the webinar maybe over the weekend if you're busy. And if you sign up before Sunday night, I'll give it to you for just £67. But bear in mind, when you sign up, you won't have immediate access to the course because it's still being prepared. And I'm hoping to release it on the 1st of August, although I'm sure it will be released before that. So if you pay your £67 before Sunday night, I can almost guarantee you'll get the course before the 1st of August. So that's pretty much my sales pitch. A bit of an exclusive offer for the group. That's the link that you need to click on to access to be able to buy the course for £67. But I will post this link just underneath the YouTube video here, and I'll post it in the link to the Facebook post as well. So that's a bit of detail on my course. So let's just go back to Taxfiler. So we're just going to briefly now look at CT600s before we finish. So I've got Fred Blogs Limited here, CT600, so I'm going to click on that. So again, it's all pretty much controlled by tabs across the top. So our first tab is status. The status of tax return is open. We've got an open CT600 here. Type of form CT600, pretty self-explanatory. But if we move to the data input tab now, we've got add a new section or add an attachment. Now, add a new section, any section that we want to add to the corporation tax return, again, we can use clickable links to do that, but we don't need to do that for the trade, which I guess is going to be pretty much all that goes on most CT600s. So what I mean by that is the accounts that we've just produced, that I showed you just now, we can transfer those through to the CT600 without any extra effort at all, and they will automatically appear here. So there they are, trading profits Fred Blogs Limited. So I'm just going to briefly look at this. So it's going to pull all our figures from the accounts through here. So there's I've got our turnover, our trading profit and loss. We've got any adjustments to trade profit, it will automatically pull those in. So for example, there's our depreciation. The only thing that will need to be entered manually, and this is always worth remembering, is capital allowances. But again, in the course, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So yeah, so pretty much wanted to show you that it will pull through the trading profit sheet from the accounts, and it will also attach the XBRL files. So you haven't got any fiddly attaching of XBRL files to do. Taxfiler will do that automatically for you. The only other section here is a declaration, which if you're making it as an agent, you can tick that box, but it's just the director's name if you're not, the status and the date. So pretty much, you know, if you've got any other sections, of course, you can then add them in. If you've got any property income or chargeable gains or R&D or anything like that, if you need to add anything else, you can still do that. But the sort of the bulk of the return, which would probably be the trading profits, is going to be automatically populated for you. So moving on to the computation, as I said, Taxfiler will produce the CT computation for you. You can download this as a PDF if you want to send your clients. And obviously in the course I'll totally go through this and explain exactly what it means and how it works. But suffice it to say that it will give you your corporation tax figure there. Now we'll also talk about in the course, another little thing to remember is the corporation tax itself. You must remember this has to go in the accounts as well. But as I say, I'll talk through that within the course. But it's quite an important point to remember. Corporation tax must also go in the accounts as well, even though we've just done the accounts. So that's the only thing with Taxfiler that's a little bit fiddly adding corporation tax. But yeah, as I say, I'll tell you more about that within the course. So tax return tab, this is a mirror image of the CT600, so this is pretty much what the HMRC form looks like. Again, you can download that as a PDF if you want to send to your client or if you want to keep it on file. But essentially it's going to pull through all the information that we've collated in the last few screens, and it's also going to pull through the numbers from the accounts which we populated previously. So all the trading profits, etc., are going to pull through here. So pretty much everything's been done for us, but this is just a copy of that CT600 with all the necessary figures contained within it. So we've got review and file, so I'm going to click on that. Now again, as I showed you just now, if there's any glaring errors, Taxfiler will pick it up here and let you know. If there's no glaring errors and everything's okay, you've got the accounts attached, so what it's going to then do is let you prepare the tax return for filing, and I won't click on that now because I don't want to file this dummy tax return. But if everything's completed, you're happy with everything. Now, as I say, it won't let you file the return if you haven't, for example, attached accounts or there's no trading profit screen on there, etc., etc. It pretty much checks that everything's there before it lets you file the accounts. But once you've done that, you can click on Prepare for Filing, and you can file the CT600 with the set of accounts through to HMRC, and you'll get a nice receipt you can download as well, which is proof, obviously, that you filed it. The last tab, we'll just briefly look on here, client case details. This can be changed. Again, note the red asterisk, all these fields need to be completed. So accounting period, start date, end date, client code, UTR, company number. It's all the sort of standard stuff that would be completed when you sort of set up the client and set up the accounts, but I just thought I'd show you it as it's the last tab there. So I'm going to go back to the home screen. So as you can see, once the tax returns are filed, CT600 for example, it will say accepted by HMRC. So really handy. So yeah, so that's it. So that's a brief demonstration of limited companies within Taxfiler. I hope you found it useful. Do feel free to purchase my course at the price of £67 for the next few days. Just simply click on the link either below this YouTube video or within the Facebook post. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed that. I really hope it's been beneficial, and I hope it's given you a bit of an idea of the power of Taxfiler. I hope the pricing at the start sort of helped you, if you haven't bought the software, to maybe decide if it's for you or not. I highly recommend it. I really do. I'm not on commission from Taxfiler at all, I promise. But it's a system that I have used since I started in practice. And I swear by it. I still use it now, and I pretty much, I guess, always will. Maybe the kiss of death to say that, but I really like it, and I'm very happy with it, and I think I'll continue to be in the future. So anyway, if you've got any questions at all, please let me know. Drop them onto the Facebook post if you have any questions at all. But in the meantime, hope you've enjoyed the demo, and I will speak to you all soon.